does this look like?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that you can see that. That's cool.
Or just undiagnosed ADHD could be a good one.
Hello.
Hello. What? Yeah, but now I've got to do this, so if you don't mind waiting. What are you going to draw?
Why you don't have to do that? It's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, but now it's an unfinished thing. As long as you complete it, I'll be happy.
Right, so let's talk about this fake OCD like epidemic that's happening. You know,
I don't think it's fake. I just think people have it.
I don't think anybody's got it, except for like the very small amount of people who have actually got OCD. But I think this is a problem. I think that what's happening at this current moment in time is that we are pathologizing normal behavior, which means that we're looking at normal human behavior as being some form of a disorder.
Yeah.
Like the whole of my teaching career, you know, the amount of teenagers that would come to you and be like, I've got anxiety, I've got depression, I've got OCD, I've got this, I've got that. None of them have got a diagnosis.
Well, no, but there's a difference between like having the real deal, like my friend said about OCD. He has a friend that has to perfectly fold his clothes before even like having sex with his partner, let alone just generally getting changed, going to bed, whatever else. And he was like, that is OCD. That episode of Scrubs I watched, where the doctor has to like bink every single item in the room before he can start. These are like the extremes. When people, like you say, they're quite jokey about, oh, I've got OCD because I have to square up my dinner plate, or
it's just that they're neat. You're just a neat person. You haven't got OCD. You're neat. No. And this is the problem.
I just like to play with the paper.
Well, I think it's narcissism. I think
I don't think it's that deep for some people.
Yeah, but they don't think it's that deep because they're stupid. Like, you know, I think there's a lot of people who are narcissistic and they want to feel special, and so
they want to have something.
You know, it's an easy, you know, it's an easy way to get different treatment is to be in a minority, isn't it? You know, and if you can be like, but it's a condition, then everybody has to treat you differently because it's a condition. But a lot of these people who don't really have these conditions, I think, you know, that's problematic. Coming as somebody who's an advocate for people who have mental health issues, you know, it really muddies the water. I think that it makes people less kind of like receptive to advocate for, you know, issues when the issue's been muddied by like people pretending to have it when actually all it is, all they have actually got is maybe like no personality and narcissism.
That is basically what
and
I
they
was
want
thinking.
Special treatment, you know.
People are one of the biggest fear I think of a lot of people is being boring, being perceived as boring, being.
But how does a mental health condition make you more interesting?
Because it's a thing.
It's just weird though, isn't it?
Why are there people
weird.
out there that want to identify as a fox or want to be called Zerzem? We won't go. We don't need to go into that too boldly.
Not on the first one, I don't know.
No, but you know what I mean.
Cancelled before we get started.
There's people like.
It's
better to have a thing. I think it's where you get a lot of pathological liars come from. When I was in school, like how many people did you know that were like,
I'm bisexual.
I've got cancer.
Everybody was bisexual when I was in school.
Well, either bi or they're ill in some kind. I mean, the lies I told when I was a kid are ridiculous to try and seem like I had something going on. But like when you're 12, you're not supposed to have that much going on. But you just.
But why? But again, this feeds back into like a problematic society that people, the only attention that people get are the ones that are like sick or whatever.
Sympathy.
Yeah, sympathy. Yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? Why do we live in a society where sympathy is like?
Because what's
a thing? No, I'm joking.
What was you're saying? Like we're all trying to reach the bottom first?
Well, yeah, it's a race to the bottom, isn't it?
A race to the bottom, that's it. But it's sympathy. People, nobody wants to hear. If I walk into a room, I'm just like, I just made £1 million today. You can guarantee out of 10 people, at least 9 of them are going to be like, great. But if that person walks in and is like, I lost 100 quid today, and they're like, oh my god, no, like,
or maybe it's because
so much
more people
of a
can
reaction.
identify with it. Do you think?
Yeah, because most people suck, and they and lives are kind of rubbish. And why do you want to hear about other people?
But I suppose it's about mediocrity. I think that most people are mediocre. And their lives are mediocre. I think, I think a lot of the reason with this kind of race to the bottom thing is it kind of gives you a validation not to try any harder. If particularly if you're like, oh well, I've got ADHD, so I can't do those things, and it's like, well, I've got ADHD. You can do those things.
You can.
That you can.
A lot of people give up quite soon, but
I don't like to use my stuff as a reason not to do something. I like to use it as fuel to do something. So like all my issues, my mental health stuff, my anorexia, eating disorders, self-harm, suicide, obviously not successful because I'm still here, but like all of that sort of stuff, I don't use that as a reason to stop myself from doing shit. I use that as a reason to make myself do shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, not to because I didn't used to be like this.
I think that's not to brag.
No, I was going to be not to be like, I'm fucking amazing, but I am fucking amazing, because what I used to be like was the opposite of what I'm saying now. So I used to use my mental health and my trauma and all of those things as excuses why I was shit.
Yeah.
Excuses to drink, excuses to take drugs, excuses to bunk school, excuses to do bad things like cheat on people. I've been a thief in my past. I've been a dealer. I've been a fucking a liar, a cheat. And if anybody asked me around that time, like, why are you being such a cunty human? I'd be like, oh, it's not my fault. I've got all these victim things. And I did have all those victim things, and they were all very real and very, whatever. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. You feel like
valid. They were all very real and very valid. Yeah, totally. Oh, mate, terrible. I was having a fucking awful time of it. But I can't. How long are you going to use that as an excuse not to live your life for? Yeah. Because at some point you have to make the choice. And it's the same as people who go on and do who a lot of people I work with, a lot of my clients say, well, I don't understand how my parent could be abusive to me when they were abused too. And it's like, because they've decided to continue using it as an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, if you stop using your abuse or your childhood trauma or whatever, your condition, your disorder, 1717, as an excuse for your mediocrity, if you stop doing that, you will end the abuse cycle. But if you continue in the victimhood mindset, you will continue the abuse cycle, and you will subconsciously and unconsciously continue to traumatize people in your life by your own repression of your mediocrity. Because when you stay in victimhood, what you're saying is that I'm weak and I'm powerless.
Yeah.
I am powerless to the world. I'm powerless to my trauma. I'm powerless to my condition. And it creates weak-minded and vindictive people, because ultimately, when you're in a victim mindset, this is going to be a really tough one, I think, but when you're in a victim mindset, you're very selfish.
Yeah.
You're a really fucking selfish person, because all you can think about is yourself. You're like, I'm a victim and all these bad things have happened to me. And so you project that outward, and you're also looking at the world through this lens that the world hates you and that you're so, burdened. So when you're in this victim mindset, everybody is like an opposer to you, because it's like, how could you treat me like that? Because I'm such a victim. But it's like, hang on a minute, a lot of these people are really rude and aggressive and nasty and doing bad things. Like, myself, I was stealing, cheating, lying, and doing bad things because I was a victim.
Yeah.
Because I was in pain.
It made you feel better. You didn't care about the repercussions.
No, I didn't care because I didn't care about myself.
I thought like everyone went through a stealing phase at college. And I was like, no, they didn't.
Did not. Hang on. Did you do it? Does everybody not go through a stealing phase? Hang on. Sorry, what?
But we just got to a point of like, we wouldn't even take lunch into college because we were just like, we just didn't care. But I know there's a part of growth is taking chances, taking risks, doing
yeah, not like going out stealing shit though. That's like, you know,
but it's
standing up on stage.
I don't know. Maybe it's a
or...
bit of a fucking. It's a risk, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. But again, why do you do it? Because your life's mediocre.
Yeah, but also you're testing the boundaries. You do it from being a child all the way up to when I don't think you ever stop testing boundaries one way or another.
No, but you should test boundaries on like your own self-development.
Yeah,
so it's like what more can I? Because this is what I got addicted to now. So I'm not addicted to drugs anymore. Now I'm addicted.
Congratulations.
I know, thank you, Leo. You know, now I'm addicted to self-development, self-growth. It's like, okay, so I've got like me doing a master's. Now I'm just like, well, why do you want to do it? I don't know, I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know, I like to challenge myself.
Yeah, but also because you can.
Yeah, but if things get a little too comfortable, like, you know, I don't like that feeling. I don't like the feeling where things are a little bit too comfortable, where you're just doing the same shit as you've always done and nothing scares you anymore. Because that's a mediocre life. It's like, ugh, you know, you're just, and that's what most people are doing. That's what most people are doing in capitalist society, is that they're just getting up in the morning and they're going to work and they're working for, you know, 8-9 hours just to make money to do something because they want to numb themselves. They're a victim of society.
That's me now, and I'm like in between work.
What do you mean that's you now?
Waiting for but I feel.
But that's not you, though, is it? You're enjoying.
It's not me, but I have that guilt of being.
Just to be clear, you're a contractor, not like a
homeless bum.
You're not a bum
with a flat.
Yeah.
A homeless bum with a flat.
Not that there's anything wrong with homeless bums, but probably if you got outside of the victimhood of that, you probably would have changed your life. Just saying.
No, it's the fear of mediocrity, the fear of or not being able to just allow myself to sit and relax. Because when I'm like, even this morning in bed, and you're like, what are we doing today? I have no idea. And sometimes you're like, you feel like you should be doing something.
Well, yeah, but that's toxic productivity.
Toxic productivity, but it's really. But
it's interesting. It's interesting. I think that comes. That's like the second stage. So the first stage of like, you know, dealing with your shit. If we're going to go, yeah, this is a good topic. But the first stage of dealing with your shit is recognizing that you've got shit. And then the second stage is recognizing that you are shit. So like, you're like, okay, so all this bad, you are, you know, life's shit. Everybody's horrible to me. My life sucks. It's awful. I'm a victim. Okay, first stage. Second stage is you need to recognize that you're shit and that you're a person that's making other people victims because you're traumatized and you're in pain. And you are, whether you like it or not, subconsciously passing that on to other individuals. So then you recognize that you're shit. And then you need to recognize that you're not so shit that you can't do anything about it. And this is like, then you step into working with somebody like me, where we start to look at, how can we empower you? And this is something I got to work on, I think, because sometimes, you know, I think the way I can deliver things, it can, you know, probably most people have left already because they're probably offended that I'm mean. That's what I think. Do you think? Because I sometimes, because I'm quite forthright with what I say. So when you say to somebody like your victimhood is making you mediocre and it's your fault and you're also a dickhead, like the delivery of that one, you know, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
It's not nice.
It's true, but it's tough love. It's tough.
It is tough love.
I do tough love. I can't be fucked with paddling around and bullshit.
You've got to put a visual to it. It's the guy in the film, in the rom-com, and he's lost the love of his life.
Yeah.
And he's just
Why did he lose the love of his life?
Well, I don't know, because something happened. She
was he a bad man?
She just left him for someone else, someone better.
So she was a bad lady.
I'm probably thinking of what was it?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
No. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, that's the one. So she breaks up with him, and he's stuck in victimhood, and it's that classic cliche image of the man that's like, he's got the beard, he's on the sofa, and his belly's like hanging out.
I don't do that.
I've got to do it. We're going for the visual.
Oh my god, it's not captured on the camera.
Right. So the belly's hanging out. They've got their. Hey,
that's our GQ advertising just gone. Men's Health lost. You know,
anyway,
sports entertainment. No, what is that?
Entertainment.
I don't know what it is. Entertainment.
Shut up. It's the belly hanging out, the hand in the fingers in the what's it, and he's stuck in victimhood.
Fingers in what's it?
Yes.
Oh, you mean what's it?
Painting an image. Shut up.
Okay, yeah.
And he's stuck in victimhood, and you're talking about mediocrity, because what's he actually doing with his life? He's just moping around on the sofa, being a victim. And
I got dumped.
He's not helping himself. He's not helping any around him. Productivity is at 0, and you're just thanks. Shall I stop?
Do some like butthole presses. Thanks. It's like potato slice.
I can't do anything
with a button instead.
This is ridiculous.
What do you call that potato slice pressing thing?
No.
Stamping?
I don't know. A potato cut. You're getting way off target.
Potato stamps.
I told you that food as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as mean as it sounds, you are right though. And as much as people don't want to hear it, because their trauma or whatever has happened is very important to them.
Yeah, well, of course it's important. It's not that it's not important, but it can't be the thing that floors you.
No.
Trauma is supposed to open up the door, the opportunity for growth. Human beings learn through pain. So, it's there. It's supposed to be opening up the door for growth. Like in the words of Rumi, the wound is where the light gets in.
Yeah.
And this is the problem, but a lot of people get caught in the wounding, and it's like it's happened to you. So don't keep recreating the pain of the thing that happened to you in the past. You at some point have to heal it and let it go, and that's not as easy as it sounds. But you gotta deal, you gotta heal it. You gotta heal it and then let it go. Because people who are in victimhood, what they're doing is every single day getting up and reminding themselves that I'm a victim, these bad things have happened to me. and so they're every single day they're bringing the history into the present day, which of course creates the future. And people come to me and they're like, this situation just keeps re-happening in their life. Maybe it happened originally with their father, that maybe their father rejected them or something, and they have the father wound. And then they're like, they keep dating these men who are emotionally unavailable that remind them of their father. And basically, they've just swapped out their father for different men throughout the whole of their lives. And it's the same man intrinsically. It's just the faces are changing.
That's weird.
And yeah, but it is weird. And this is what trauma does, because you replicate it subconsciously in a hope that you will remedy at some point. But if you get stuck in the mindset of victim mentality, what you just continue to do is just recreating the trauma on a daily basis for yourself. And it's like, it's such an awful thing to experience. And I think once you realize you're doing it, it's very frustrating when until you can change it, because
you catch yourself.
Yeah, because you catch yourself doing it. But it's like, the original trauma had happened. Like, you could have dealt with that and left it back 20, 30 years ago. Do you know the amount of clients that I have that come to see me, and they're like 40, 50, 60, and they say, this thing happened to me when I was 10.
Yeah.
And then every day they're replicating the pain of what happened to them when they were 10. And it's like, this thing that happened 40 years ago is still colouring their present day.
Yeah.
And it's not that trauma isn't significant or isn't, life-changing, but it doesn't have to be something that changes your life negatively.
It becomes their identity. People identify with the trauma because...
they have no personality.
Yeah, well, I was about to say.
So I was right.
The really mean thing to say is that's all you got.
But
it's what you cling on to. If you were, your identity. If you were hit by a car once, you're kind of that person that was hit by a car. That's your niche, because you've not been able.
I was the trauma girl. I'm still the trauma girl. I'm still the neurodivergent girl, because I've made a business out of these things, but it's positive now for me. Instead of it being something that defines me in a negative manner, it's something, it has become my niche in business, and now I'm making bank from it. And I think this is the thing, is that when you stay in victim mindset, instead of seeing the opportunity that could come from what has happened to you, you only see the difficulties, you only see the pain, you only see how it's dismantled you. So, obviously I got recently diagnosed as ADHD. I've got the channel, the Neurodiversity Fairy, which is all kind of based on trying to help people who have who have like neurodivergence.
Mm-hmm.
And you get some people that come to you and they're like, I'm disabled, I have a disorder. And you're like, it is a disability and it is a disorder, but it's also not.
No.
Like, do you want to look at it as being your superpower? Because if you do, and you look for how you can utilize it to help you instead of how it's hindering you, you know, this is that thing I talk about with staring at stairs or looking for lifts. You know, that's my thing. Don't you dare say it was you. It was my thing. Oh my God, you do this all the time. I put it on a video and you're like, I love that. You should create that into a picture. You like, babe, every time. This is my whole life where I say something intelligent to somebody and then they turn around to me 3 months later, say what I've said back to them and then tell me that it was their idea. And I'm just like,
Like, I tell you the next morning. Sometimes I was like, oh my God.
I thought it was an amazing thing. I'm like, I'll snack a bitch down. Have you heard of this? Yeah, but I think it's God keeping my ego in check, because you can't be the kind of me that I am and not have to have your ego kept in check. But I mean, what was I saying before then?
I don't know.
See, the memory issue. That's staring at stairs and listening to less. Okay, so like, if you were a disabled person, you know, do you just, if you're in a wheelchair and you're disabled and you go somewhere to a building, do you just sit staring at the stairs going like, oh, the stairs and I can't get up those, that's really difficult, my life's awful? Or do you go, all right, well, there's some stairs there, I wonder if there's a lift somewhere, I'm going to start looking for a lift. And I think some people, they have something like a traumatic situation happen to them, like becoming disabled, and then they just stare at the stairs and they refuse to look for lifts. And some people love being the staring at stairs victim.
They're just not ready.
You know, because everybody that walks past them, and this is covert narcissism, okay? So everybody that walks past the person who's staring at the stairs going, woe is me, I can't get up the stairs, they get this interest from people walking past. Oh my God, are you okay? What's the matter? Can you not get up the stairs? No, I can't get up the stairs. Oh, okay, let's see if we can help you. I'll help you. So if you're somebody that is kind of stuck in victimhood mentality and maybe are still within that kind of like shell of mediocrity and fear of stepping outside of where you are into something new, which is all very reasonable stuff, by the way, and all places I've also been, by the way. So, you know, I might sound like a judgy cunt, but I'm actually being, you know, I understand it. I'm just speak plainly. But you know, so they get this attention, and sometimes people get stuck in the attention. It's like what you said to me, you know, that when you were little, you used to try and think of reasons why you could get sympathy from people because it would give you attention.
Literally, because I was thinking, is it not? I had this conversation with my sister actually, and the whole conversation, it was quite a deep conversation. It went on for quite a while. There was a point where I was like, have you ever imagined people dying? I'll imagine family members have died and I'll be like at their funeral and I'm like making myself cry.
And you think I'm bad. I'm just rude to people, but you're actually thinking about killing people so you can get sympathy.
Yeah.
I just call it people victims of mediocre and murdering people. I thought I was going to be the problem with this podcast.
Like, wouldn't it be great if Mum got cancer? And I was just like, no. But these are the thoughts that have got. Imagine, hypothetically.
Imagining, not really.
Hypothetically, it's like, yeah, just.
I thought I was going to be the problem.
Sometimes when you're here. I bet I'm not the only one.
Well, it's not that a mum getting cancer so you can get some attention.
Not some attention, just so that something would happen.
What do you mean something would happen?
Just in
something more exciting than just going to school today.
I bet I'm not the only one that's had these.
But guys, if you're still watching and you've ever thought about your mum getting cancer so that you can get some attention, please let us know in the comments. Because otherwise Adam's going to feel a little bit like he's the only one and he's a sociopath.
I don't think it was for attention. I think it was just.
I think it was Forrest Gump.
It's just.
I don't think it was Forrest Gump.
But same as anything like, I don't know. You come home and everything's burnt. It's that
and everything's burnt.
What's it called when you think about kicking a baby in the face?
Intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive thoughts.
Mate, honestly, I actually thought I was going to be the problem with this one. You are well and truly outing yourself here. Like, I thought I was going to come across like the bad guy.
No.
Because I call people victims. You're like kicking kicking babies in the face.
You never thought that?
Giving your mum cancer. Oh, brilliant.
Honestly,
the
shit that goes through my head is horrific.
Yeah, but that's normal as well, though. So, again, going back to the original topic about pathologizing normal human behavior, you know, this whole thing that people do about intrusive thoughts, it's a trend, you know, it's a trend now on TikTok where they're like, the intrusive thoughts won, and you're like, oh, tell me you're an attention seeker without telling me you're an attention seeker. But I mean, like, you know, intrusive thoughts are very normal, particularly the more trauma that you've been through, the more traumatic they tend to become, because, you know, thoughts are a secondary safety system.
Right.
So, you know, we think about things from an anxiety perspective or from a fear perspective because we're able to try to kind of mitigate the circumstances in the future. So it's a safety system. You know, it's if I hold onto this glass too hard and crack it, what will happen? You know, the glass will go in my hand. If I kick this baby in the face, what will happen? You know, so if I drive my car into, probably this is one that most normal people could probably kind of get on board with, is maybe something like stabbing somebody when you're cutting onions, jumping in front of the train when it's coming. You just think, what would happen if I jumped in front of the train? Yeah. Or like, you know, walking across a bridge and you're inside your head, you're just saying like, throw your phone in the river. Like, and you're just thinking about lobbing your phone in the river. These are these kind of intrusive thoughts that come in, and a lot of people think that they're like, that there's something wrong with you, like it's schizophrenia or that you're nuts or something, you know, or it's like demonic. It's like, no, it's just your secondary safety system. And ultimately, the more trauma you've been through, the more fucked up it tends to be. You know, for me, I've spent years being suicidal. So anytime I'm stood on a train or, you know, stood on a train platform, you know, it's going through my head about jumping in front of the train, you know, things like off bridges. You know, driving my car into people as they're driving towards me. Like, it's not an impulse. This is the difference. It's not an impulse, it's a thought. And the thought is there because the brain is trying to protect you from dangerous situations coming forward. But if you're somebody who's particularly anxious, but if you're somebody who's particularly anxious, you may find that you have, you know, more of these intrusive thoughts because your brain is anxious. You're an anxious person. You haven't taken control of
causing harm to other people. I don't know why. It's like you could be walking along. So if I go to Blackpool, my family's in Blackpool. You know, like we walk along the promenade a lot. So there's a lot of old people like sat on walls. I'm just like, oh god, you just Spartan kicked them in the back. Who's the first person? And then you look around, and you think, who's the first person that's going to do anything? It's that old Bill Burr joke. He says he goes to the market and he's like, there's a load of muffins, and in his head he's just playing whack-a-mole with the muffins. It's like, there's no security at the market. No one's coming over. How many of these muffins can I fucking whack, whack, whack before like anyone stops me? And you're like, that's not going through my head. But it's like kicking old people and babies.
Oh my god, that was great.
I bet I'm relatable.
I mean, and if you're not, I don't think anybody's going to come near you.
Don't introduce me to your baby.
No, he's not. He's not a danger to anyone. But no. I think this is the problem: is that people don't want to talk about it because they're worried that other people are going to judge them for it.
This has been a long lesson to learn to not care and just say. I'm one of the first to embarrass myself if I've done something stupid. Like I will. Whether it's a word I got wrong, whether it's just a sign I read, or like whatever, I don't know. But if there's something I did, I'm just like, oh, if I have my blonde moment, let's say, I tell people. I think it's hilarious, and you just get it out there. But I used to be so ashamed by those moments when I was younger. At school, I mean, I called my girlfriend the wrong name once, and I fucking died inside. Because she wasn't even there. I remember someone walked down the corridor and I said the name thinking it was her, and then a friend turned around, it was the wrong name. And you know, you get ribbed at school for everything and anything. And I just couldn't take it as banter. I didn't know how to accept that sort of embarrassment. It wasn't until probably university I started being able to just just let it. Just let it out, and then I really did steer into it. It's that idea of steering into the banter, the joke, or whatever.
Yeah, just lean into your weirdness, isn't it?
It's
just be you.
Absolutely the best way. It's Eminem telling his whole life story before
look at that. That is really good.
Before they get a chance to say it first, you know.
It just worked out well that looked like the back of his head and his nose.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting
What's
that.
This?
That's a graph of my happiness and freedom, which means that I'm going to get more of those in the future. Because they're just going up exponentially. So we're making vision boards at the moment, guys.
Oh, I just doing like a random.
Oh, well, I'm making a vision board.
Well, that one is.
Of things I want. But I don't even know what I want. What do I want?
I forgot it was. I forgot we were supposed to be vision boarding. I was just doing random art.
A caravan.
Yeah, caravan. You want you want like a self-sustaining life, don't you? Get away from being on the grid. Get away from processed foods, plastics, and I think ultimately it's having to rely on. It's other people, but I think it's having to rely on other people is probably like a big point for you, isn't it? You like to be.
Yeah, but I wonder how much of that is a trauma response, though. You know, like because if you haven't been able to rely on people before, I don't really like feeling like I think I worry a lot about getting old because I worry that I'm going to be I'm going to have to rely on somebody,
Yeah.
And like have somebody like look after you or something or wipe your bum or something. Like, and that, like, I mean, obviously I don't really want somebody wiping my bum in general, but like the thought of people, of having to rely on somebody else for like living.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah, I think even moving here was a bit of a thing for you at first, wasn't it? There was a few.
I fucked my bus up.
Oh no. Why? What's wrong with your bus?
I don't know. What I was going to do is
put wheels on it. It's fine.
Yeah, but I don't know what I was going to do. I was going to do like a...
That's the most raggedy caravan I've ever seen.
I was going to do like a...
I don't even know what the fuck this is anymore.
A Volkswagen, but then I started just drawing a school bus.
This is like 80s clip art. Like from Saved by the Bell. I don't even know. Started off so well at the top. I know.
This is great. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know what the fuck this is.
It looks like COVID, like all 3 COVIDs that are probably coming still.
Just you wait.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, natural living. You probably not wanting people's help as much.
I don't like people.
You just don't like people?
No, not really.
Noise...
I think most people are just gross.
Well, it's gross, unconscious, and mediocre.
Yeah, I'm so glad I've got so many followers on TikTok that love me so much. I'm such a bitch. But I don't know. I think it's trauma. I do think it's trauma. I think trauma can lead you to just kind of having a lot less patience, I think, for things. I think that's autism and ADHD too.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thought of being like reliant on somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like I run my own business all on my own because I can't stand the thought of like
a 9 to 5.
Well, no, I can't stand the thought of like having somebody like having to train up an employee and then them being shit and then me thinking, well, I've just spent 200 quid for you to be shit doing something that I could have done.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a bit egoic. I suppose.
Yeah, but that's also a response like when you tried to get a website and it ended up being shit. After a while, you realise you're just better off doing the thing yourself. But there will come a point with growth that you need help.
Well, that's it. I think I'm limiting my growth presently because I refuse to kind of let people help me.
Yeah.
And I think, going back to that victim mindset sort of thing, I think, am I doing it myself? Am I being a victim mindset in my own business because I think other people are shit?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe there's a little bit of consciousness there. That's how you bring stuff into the light. This is when my clients come forward and they talk to me about stuff. And then I'm like, do you think that maybe that is also the same problem as that thing, but it's got a different space. And maybe that's true for me. Maybe, you know, maybe I've been holding myself back in my business by refusing to let other people help me, or get involved in stuff because I've been so horrifically let down by people, you know, in the past. And so it's like, oh, you know, I don't want that. It's like somebody who's saying like, oh, I'm never going to date anybody ever again because I got my heart broken. Wow, this is real-time consciousness happening right now.
What's that? Every single rom-com ever. I'm done with men.
I'm done.
Men are pigs. Da 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 da. And then, as soon as the next hot guy comes along.
Oh my! So do you think I'm doing that with
maybe
humans
Mr. Darcy
then?
with his nice winter coat and a scarf. Oh, he's the one.
Mate, do you think I'm doing that with humans?
You're not letting people in because you've been let down so much.
Yeah, I just said that. Don't
absolutely.
repeat what I just said back to you like it was your idea.
Confirming. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yes, that is what I'm saying, and what you're saying.
Yeah, do you think that's true then?
Quite possibly. It's the same as like me and manifesting. What I was saying to you the other day. You think every morning I wake up and I'm waiting for there to be a mess and the whole building is on fire and I've lost all my money, when in reality I get up and 9 times out of 10 there's poo on the floor, not mine, the cat's. And there's sick. And for some, I told you it was the kitten.
I promise it was the cats.
And look, just statistically, they seem to leave a lot of mess all the time.
Yeah, like other humans. I just think like statistically they seem to be subpar.
But you think we're in what's it called?
An ascension.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we are in an ascension. Yeah, a consciousness revolution.
Right.
It is happening. It's just that, you know, there's not that many people of it just yet. But it is getting better. This is more awake people than I've ever seen in my life, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's difficult. You know, sometimes I put myself out there and then I'm disappointed by people, and then you just think, oh, fucking hell, here we go. You know, I suppose it's the same thing. It's going on like 1,000 first dates and, you know, the guy's a twat or whatever. You know, you just got to keep putting yourself out there. But it's easy for me not to have friends.
Right.
You know, not bother with that. But it's not healthy, is it? You know, I don't really want you to become like my everything. Because like, what if you die?
Well, I've said the same. Like I've barely seen my friends since I've been home.
If I just like you so much, I don't really want to spend time with other people.
Yeah, I'm just comfortable.
I mean, it's not even just comfortable. It's that like I like you so much that like other people are just like, I want to find people like you know.
Yeah.
You know, and they say what they're going to do and they do what they're going to say. And
I'm over this one. Shit.
I don't know what else I want to put on my love. I'll put love on my thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gay. No, you need to let people in. You need to not forget your friends, because that's what I've been doing. I think not putting enough attention to them, but then I also think I've been sitting back waiting for them to get hold of me. But a lot of them, they've got kids now. They're in relationships like I am. It's hard.
The whole kids thing. I'm not sure how much.
To go out when you're not in the same circle anymore. So these are people that I've known either through.
Do you think that they just have kids and they just think, oh, we don't want to be friends with you like people anymore?
No, they're just busy.
But are they though? Because they seem to like spend time with their families and like other people with kids.
So
I know, I get that they're all going to the thing that the kids are doing, and that's you know, whatever. But it's like,
but who then
would invite us to like a kid
person? This is what I was telling you about.
It's difficult, isn't it? But it puts this real schism, I think, between friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's a
what
shame.
I was telling you about when growing up, we had this big friendship circle of like 6 or 7 families, but as soon as one of them got divorced, bye Graham, or like whoever it was. And it was like, that was it. As soon as him and the wife split up, you're no longer invited to the thing because it's awkward, or because you don't want to favour one over the other, or you realise you're the one that wasn't favoured, and that's awkward. And then it happened with my parents, and then my dad said he remembers that was it. You just stopped talking to everyone because it's now awkward. You were only there either because of your wife or you're only there because you just want couples there, and people just want to hang out with other couples, or people, or like you say, misery loves company, and sad people love being with other sad people, and yeah, you don't want to be reminded if you're also in a loveless marriage or.
I wonder how many people have kids and then they just fucking hate it, so they can't be around like single happy people.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like if you're in an unhappy marriage, you know, and you're not going to hang out with your like, you know, and you've decided not to leave. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to hang out with your like single friends who are having a great time, because it would just be like a reminder of like
whenever they want, and they
doing whatever they want to do. You know.
Probably a lot. But we're coming from a point of like we're so on the fence about whether we even want kids.
I just don't. I just don't see the point really. Like,
I feel like
I don't know why people would do it. It feels like you just doing something really horrific.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot of I've looked after a lot of people in my life, and I feel like I didn't really have that much of a childhood at points in my life because it was so much trauma and pain and stress.
Yeah.
So it's like the thought of like having to go back into giving your life up to something else just sounds awful, you know? Like I'm really enjoying being able to do what the fuck I want to do, you know? Not having to like think about somebody other than you, obviously, but like having to think about someone else. You know, having the cats is enough, I think.
Absolutely. Says the pile of poo and the sick every morning. I keep saying to you, like every morning that they do that, I'm like, kids would be easier because at least they shit in their pants. They piss their pants, and they're not then stepping in it.
Well, no, but they got hands. People... They can put it on the walls.
I suppose so. You see those videos.
Poonados.
Got into Punami, maybe.
Punado.
People that have got into like the flour and they've just.
I reckon they're all fake,
all
though.
The paint is everywhere. No.
I reckon they're all fake. I reckon the parents have done that. I saw somebody.
Surely that's child abuse.
How much? What?
If you've seen the ones where their kid is literally, I think their whole head is covered in
people do this sort of
butter.
shit to get views on the internet. I'm just saying.
It's terrible.
You know, it's true though. They do, don't they?
Yeah, I'm sure it's true.
Yeah. It's like those beauty pageant people. You know, with their daughters who are like 4 or something.
Oh,
they force them to go into pageants and wear makeup, and some of them are giving them Botox and God knows what. You're like, what are you doing? You know, illegal. Tell me you're a terrible parent without telling me you're a terrible parent.
There's people that like, you've ever seen these babies in Claire's accessories getting their ears pierced?
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this to your child so early? But you're just like enforcing your own thing. Yes, they're probably going to get their ears pierced, but just like let them decide themselves. Let them be old enough to be
like getting somebody a tattoo at the age of 4 or something. It's like, what are you doing? Like, well, we got tattoos. They probably want tattoos later. It's like, well, let the child decide whether or not they want a tattoo later. They get their ears pierced. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Fucking weird. I do not get some parents, honestly, which is bizarre. But I mean, you can't blame them, because I think ultimately it's just that loads of humans are really fucking unconscious on this planet, you know, and they're just brainwashed. They're just brainwashed by like society about what they, you know, being brainwashed to do this, that, and the other. And there's all this bizarre stuff that they all do that they think is completely normal.
See, that I struggled with, didn't I? The wording of being brainwashed.
Well, we are all brainwashed. Like, I'm still brainwashed over certain things. Oh, I'm sorry.
I suppose it's
annoying.
What you mean is
conditioned.
Yeah, that is it. There's no difference in the meaning that you're trying to get across, but for some reason,
that somebody's feelings are going to get hurt, so they miss the message. See, that's true though. I should be nicer, and then people won't miss the message.
But it's like calling someone a retard because they're being slow.
Are you too retarded to listen? Then I'm not going to pander.
Actually slow.
Oh, I just can't hate pandering to people.
But the word being retarded, like someone's going to be offended by. So the idea of
people are offended by everything. I'm offended by people who are offended by everything.
Right, fine.
How about that?
But the idea of being brainwashed is the idea of whether it's dumb enough or easy enough to have let it happen. Therefore, it is a kind of insight, even though you don't even mean it in that way. You just mean you've been brought up to think Coca-Cola is good for you, that the government have your best interests at heart, and that big pharma are doing their absolute best to try and cure cancer.
Yeah.
That is what you mean by a form of brainwashing.
I thought you meant like a big farmer, then I was thinking like a large man.
Big
like,
fat farmer.
Come mine harvester.
Come taste my corn.
I was like, how does a big farmer help you when you're whatever you said?
It's nice when you're dumb as well.
Babe.
Anyway,
Babe.
so this big farmer named Tony sells all the drugs around the world. No, it's fucking forgot what I was saying now. It's just that the brainwashing.
What?
Brainwashing is just that. It's people that think it's just what you've been brought up, and like you said, there's a lot more woke people now. There's so much more information on TikTok.
Not
YouTube.
woke. No, not woke people. Woke people are some of the most asleep people ever.
Well,
no, we're talking about awakened.
Awakened.
Okay, awakened, not woke. Let's not confuse those two things.
I feel like woke had its day.
Woke had its day when it was a black person thing.
And then
as soon as the white people got hold of it, as per usual, they completely ruined it.
Fucked it.
Took it to being something that had absolutely nothing to do with being awakened. And now it is what it is, which is, a mind virus.
A mind virus, right? Okay.
So
a lot more people now are awakened.
A cult of virtue signaling.
Aye.
The virtue signaling cult of the woke.
And thanks to even things like Netflix and the sort of documentaries that are coming out that we're starting to watch, and people are starting to realise, holy shit.
Oh yeah, like that one that we watched the other day. What was that one? About the
just about garbage.
Fast marketing and fast fashion and stuff, wasn't it? And
recycling
and things.
Oh, the one click buy. It was all about.
What was it called? I don't know. It was really, really
I think
good.
It was literally called one click buy.
But literally, like she was saying was, the amount of money that they spend on marketing to literally brainwash you into buying stuff that you don't need without any consideration of the ethical, moralistic, or environmental impact of what you're doing. And this is the brainwashing. I think people can be offended. You were offended when I said it. But I think we need to recognize that it is exactly what it is. And the reason why I use the term brainwashing is to make you irritated. Because when you become irritated and then you recognize what's actually happened to us in society, you'll want to change it. When we put it down to just, it's just capitalism, it's just this, it's just happenstance, without recognizing actually that most marketing deliberately tries to psychologically manipulate you into having things that you don't need through making you feel inadequate. The whole beauty industry is built on damaging people's self-esteem.
Yeah.
So damaging people's self-esteem, and then we're going to damage you. And they, most capitalism, they are the poison, they are the remedy. And they'll poison you, and then they'll sell you the remedy for it. And it's the same as Big Pharma. Big Pharma will say, okay, this, McDonald's and those kind of food industries have made you sick. The cigarette companies, they've made you sick. And all the marketing agents have forced you down that route to have those things, brainwash you into having those things. And then they'll sell you so they poisoned you, and then they'll go, oh, don't worry about it. I've got medication for that. I've got chemotherapy for that. I've got this for that. I've got that for that. So then they'll sell you the remedy to the thing that they poisoned you with, and then what they won't tell you is that most of the things that they're giving you as well also poison you at the same time. So then they'll sell you a secondary medication to fix the side effects of the first medication from the thing that they poisoned you with.
It's the headache drug that has a side effect of headaches.
Yeah, but it's like what we
Wait,
really need
come on, what's happening here? What are we doing?
Well, what we really need to recognise is that, marketing does feed capitalism, and a lot of it is done through pretty immoral and reprehensible ways of brainwashing individuals. And I think I use the word brainwashing to be incendiary because I think it's really important that people get inflamed by it. Because when you recognize that, the TV and the film that you're watching is creating the beauty standards that are causing your daughter to be anorexic, that is then feeding back into psychology, that is making money. They're making money off of the thing that made you sick, and are now making you well from it.
Yeah.
Does that not make you livid?
Why are we idolizing the Kardashians and not? When was the last time anyone watched the Nobel Prize be handed out? Who the hell these are supposed to be the most the best scientific discoveries or inventions or whatever it is, and yet things like Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, all this shit TV,
banal mediocrity,
whatever it's the
egoic mediocrity,
reality TV,
you know.
And yet it's the people, and then people are moaning about billionaires, but they're watching billionaires do nothing, just be socialites, and then carry on complaining. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Brainwashing.
Like
and this is, I think, the more that we recognise that we're brainwashed into this nonsense, the freer we will become.
And like, poor all the little girls that are watching it and they're idolising it, and that's what they want to be. Like, it's baffling how it's become a thing, how it's happened.
But it's like, and to come back to the victim mentality, is that until you recognize that you have power over it, you'll remain in that victim mentality. Yeah. When I talk to people about this, they often go, what can I do? I'm just one person. It's like, well, every single penny you spend, attention is the new currency. Every second that you spend either watching something or partaking in something, and we're hypocrites because we watch Married at First Sight, but you're encouraging these things to be continually made. Like, go to your library. I go to my local library. Go to your library because it means that libraries will remain open. If you want pubs to remain open, you need to go to the pub. If you want vegan food to be made, you need to spend money on vegan food.
If you want women footballers to make more money,
you need to go and watch fucking football from women. Exactly. Because and this is the thing. Right or wrong, capitalism is where we're at, and if there's not something, if people don't want it, they're not going to make it.
Yeah, but convenience, isn't it? Absolutely, all down to convenience, and that's what Amazon and
but a lot
eBay
of this sells you
done.
convenience whilst they're stealing your freedoms. That's what we need to be aware about.
It's the idea of, again, what we saw in that documentary, the one click and it's there.
I can sit in my bedroom and do my entire Christmas shopping without leaving the house. And the options are so much vaster than trying to go to the shops, and anyone trying to do it off their own back has to charge.
Do you remember actually going Christmas shopping? Oh my God, it was like exhausting. You go to like 50 different shops.
Oh, I just went to Argos. So even back then it was it was convenient shopping. But Argos, that was just the catalogue. And I suppose even then sometimes I think Mum would, he wants a skateboard, or he wants this sort of toy, that's a ball, this sort of thing, and then look elsewhere other than just Argos trying to get these things. But that brings us back to wanting to be self-sustainable. Like, why do we even need to do Christmas? I got friends that they only did Christmas if they could afford it at the time, and I think their dad would say, like, we're not doing presents this year, and it was absolutely fine because they were brought up, probably awakened.
It's realistic, isn't it?
No need for.
I think Santa's a really damaging concept because it's like, just is this magical man that's just bringing shit to you, nobody's had to work for it, and it's like, what about my students that wouldn't have anything for Christmas, and then why didn't Santa bring me something? And this idea that you're naughty or you're nice. So it's like, horrible capitalist nonsense that just feeds into this terrible machine of like,
it's not great
suffering, I think.
And then pressure on parents to the kid coming home, be like, everyone's got the new iPod, everyone's got the new this. My parents did their best when it came to phones. I got the 3310 and I had to hold on to that for dear life for as long as possible. It was so long until I got an upgrade, but they're trying to teach you don't need it.
The fact
that I had a phone at 12 years old. 12, 13,
Jeez,
I think I got a phone. Probably year 8.
I don't know when I got one, actually. I don't know.
So maybe year 8, I had a phone.
Had Tetris on it. It was so good.
Yeah.
I'm getting bored.
You're getting bored? Stop it.
I'm not bored of you, but I kind of want to watch films or something.
You just want to stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
what have you put on your thing?
Say goodbye to your fans.
You say goodbye. They're your fans too now.
No, I said your fan.
My one fan.
Is there even anyone watching?
Thank you to the one person who has watched this. I mean, it's probably a good thing because I've got some quite controversial opinions.
And I talked about.
You talked about giving your mum cancer.
Kicking babies.
So, you know.
So maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we should probably stop. What time is it?
It's dinner time. I'm getting hungry.
It's absolutely dinner time.
Okay, so we're going to go make some dinner. We'll pick this conversation back up at some point. We love you. Thank you for listening. If you stuck with us this long, leave us a comment below and your thoughts and opinions. We'd love to hear about. We love to hear them. I love to hear them. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions. The best thoughts and opinions.
Like the attention whore you are.
What? I'm an attention whore.
No, I'm joking.
You're an attention whore.
Yeah.
What? You're the one who's riding my coattails, don't you? Man with 0 followers.
Yeah, find me on the socials. I dare.
Yeah,
you.
somebody find this one
Good
on
luck.
socials. Yeah,
Good
make him more
luck.
famous than me. That's what we're gonna make Adam great again. MAGA hats. We're gonna make Adam great again. Making Adam great again.
I never stopped
Okay.
being great. How are you?
Okay, bye
Do
everybody.
you like my snowman?
Say goodbye. You
Goodbye.
want to show them your picture? I'm going to show my picture. This is my vision board. You have to hold it up quite high, quite close. That's it. A bit more.
You can't see
Okay,
it because of the
it's
light.
getting-
It's too
no.
fucking bright.
Okay, say goodbye.
All they saw is a blank paper. I've not actually been doing anything.
Say bye, everyone.
That's
Bye. Turn your microphone on.
Easily
Successful.
done. Every day.
All right.
Where's the button?
Bye.